this Sunday at 20 CET, the winner of the Trackmania Grand League Fall 2020 will be crowned, and new for this season is the playoff format. So I'm joined by one of the most knowledgeable guys in Trackmania. He has played Trackmania Grand League, he has casted Trackmania Grand League before, and he has also been on this channel before. It's a pleasure once again to welcome Riolu back to this channel. We have done a previous show before, that was before the Trackmania World Championship in 2018. We all know how good that event was, so I'm curious, will this event be as good? What do you think, Riolu?
TMWC is an unforgettable event, you know. I've been behind the scenes with the casting, so I have it especially in my mind, you know. I will never forget this long evening of casting. It's been a whole weekend that I just casted. Like, my voice was never as dead as it was that evening. It was crazy. But yeah, very notable, very memorable competition. And now that we go into the Trackmania Grand League Season 2 with a new playoff format, which is not comparable to TMWC, but it's something new. So that's the thing. Like, TMWC, in fact, wasn't new. It was the same old, you know? It wasn't something that was innovative or anything, but level and everything was just top tier. So now in the Grand League, we have top tier players, we have good maps, but we have a new playoff system, which still has to be proven to be good or not. That's the thing. So we know how it works on paper. The rulebook is available on the website, and people have discussed it thoroughly in, like, behind the scenes and also in the public discords and everything. So people know how it works, but how will it be executed with players on the track? Because it is something that we haven't seen before, completely new, in fact. So now we basically have kind of cup mode, but with 2 laps, and you have to win a map 2 times to move on. So it's something completely new, and I'm afraid that it could be a hit or miss. So it could either be exciting to see 2 laps on good maps. Like, that's the thing, good maps. The maps are going to be good, and the competition is going to be fierce on all of the 6 maps in the map pack. And I think they did a good choice at picking the maps that are going to offer good races. Because there have been a few Grand League maps that kind of spread the players apart too much because the identities were too hard, or because the maps themselves were just too punishing in some way. So the players have been spread too much, which is going to be making up for kind of a boring final, if you know what I mean. Like, it's just not going to be super exciting. So the maps they picked are exciting. For example, we've seen great races on Halfpipe. We've seen some really cool position changes on Paradise with the different strats in the identity as well. So that's going to be good. I think that is a good pick, because you've seen the high line, the wide line, and the tight spin and everything. So you can do some interesting things on these maps. And I think the map choice is good. So depending on how the players are prepared, and I'm sure most of them will be prepared nicely, it's going to be good racing. That is something I don't have a doubt about. But a doubt I have is whether the fact you have to win a map 2 times is going to be offering a balanced match at the end. Because if you take a look at the players, there are some players who are known to be fast. And I think these players will sweep through faster. Like, they have more chances to kind of make it through without being stuck in this, let's say, finalist mode for super long, for like 10 2-lappers in a row. So there are players who have the potential to make it a quickie and to just make it through. And then other players might struggle, and they might have to capitalize on mistakes. Because driving 2 laps fast is hard. Like, you might think it's easy sitting on the spectator bench, but it's actually hard to drive 2 laps on a level where you actually are faster than the others. So that's a thing. So I am afraid that maybe everyone is going to be in this finalist mode at some point. And then it is a bit like Zerator Cup with the duo format, where everyone was finalists almost, like every team had player and finalist, and then you're sitting on the edge of your seat, and it's like, oh god, who's going to make it? You know? So it is a lot of pressure on the players. I think it's going to put a lot of pressure on the players. And it could go either way. you know, that's maybe a positive thing, that it could go either way for every player. But on the other hand, it might feel, you know, a little, I don't know how you put it, like as a player, you might feel you're stuck at some points because you win, let's say you win 1-2 lapper and then 10 times in a row you don't win. And, you know, that's maybe a bit of a negative thing. You get stuck. And then it's kind of a mental game more than playing Trackmania. So that is kind of a thought that I have. But other than that, it could be a success, could be fun to watch, but it could also be a little boring. Like we need to see how it goes. Really, it's hard to predict. But these are kind of my thoughts on it.
But before we go into like the players itself, the format like itself, the maps itself, how do you feel about the overall feeling in the community heading into it? If you draw the parallel to 2018 before the World Championship, there was a lot of hype, the return of the World Championship. Now, it's just some days until we crown essentially the best player in the world. It's normally crowned in October, November, so this is something people are used to. But how do you feel the community are feeling heading into this weekend? Is it hyped? Is it like meh? What is the feeling that you get from the community?
That's a good question. I think 2018 the community was noticeably smaller and less interested in competitive than it is now, because now you have more people and also new people who came through the new game who want to watch some competitive Trackmania. So you have more people potentially that you can kind of speak towards and who might potentially watch the races. So in 2018, the World Championship was the biggest thing, and everyone was hyped because there was nothing bigger than that at that point except the Rater Cup. Now it's pretty much the same thing. Grand League is one of the biggest competitions, and then there's also the Rater Cup on top. Yeah, now you have all this, yeah, let's just say backlash towards the Trackmania Grand League because people have been upset about the point system being the same or not changed enough to what the community really wants. Then there was the open letter by us players, and there was this, there was that. So there's generally, I think, more frustration in the community than 2018. At least it's more visible on social media than it was 2 years ago. So that is something that I think puts down the hype a bit, to be quite fair. The playoffs also haven't been promoted as well as I think they should be. Puts a big dent into what the playoffs and the finals could have been. Because, for example, the date hasn't been communicated properly, the time hasn't been communicated properly. There could have been a lot more, you know. Also, some hype trailer maybe, some, you know, whatever it takes. I'm not a marketing expert, but whatever it takes to kind of bring the message across. And that's what I think has been is medium rare in my opinion. Like it could be more, of course.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what I think is the case.
Yeah, I don't think you need to be a marketing expert because I posted on a poll on October 27th, like, do players or do fans know when the playoffs are taking place? 80% said no. I even had some players reaching out to me and say, dude, I don't even know when I'm supposed to play on Sunday. And then I added another poll. Do you know that the TMGL playoffs are taking place this Sunday? 60% said no. So you are aiming this towards some casual fans, but even the hardcore fans and the players that are supposed to play, they don't know when it's taking place. So the marketing behind it feels like meh. What do you think? Do you think that Nadeo and Ubisoft is like, okay, we expect the orgs that have the players left to promote it. We expect Sardosh to just pull in numbers so we don't have to do anything. Why do you think that Nadeo themselves are not really pushing it, really trying to create something hype around it? Because at the moment, all they have done is this players preview of the maps that sure it's good, but there could be something else added with it.
Yeah, exactly. I'm really not sure what is happening, like what their thoughts are behind it. You could argue with, hey, it's a new season and we want to try it out before making it big or before announcing it, before also investing money. Like promotion is money at the end of the day. It costs money to promote something, to advertise for something. So maybe they need to see, hey, is it worth it to invest more into it? And If not, then we're just gonna keep it the same way, the way we've done it before, which is player previews, which is but yeah, it's definitely not the right approach, because you just noticed the results of the poll. It's clear that it's not enough, and that it clearly went under the radar for players and for viewers and for everyone who's basically involved into it. And I think that shouldn't be, because even if a league is small, and even if there maybe isn't as much money as in some crazy CSGO major or whatever, you still need to make sure that everyone who's involved and everyone who wants to watch it actually gets the chance to watch it and gets the chance to show what they got. And I think right now it's, bad, but it can be so much better as well. Like that's the problem that I see. I myself, as someone who is deeply into the community, like I had no problem finding when it is, but imagine like your average Joe who maybe just joined Trackmania through some YouTuber or through Zerator or whatever, and they want to watch this. Then they have to go on the website and then click on the rule book on a PDF to find when it is. Like, question mark?
Yep. But let's not try to demotivate people, because what I want to do, what I guess you want to do, is to bring some positivity into Trackmania, and positivity is a word that Hylos and Ubisoft now like, so I guess they will like the upcoming segments. Let's talk about the playoffs, let's talk about who this format favors, let's talk about who this Sunday is gonna favor. If we first talk about it, what is new for this playoffs compared to the last playoffs is of course the format itself, but also this playoff is taking place online and not offline. Is there any players that sticks out to you in a positive way, that okay, he is better when he plays online and not in front of a crowd, and the other way, is there someone that is maybe stepping up when they are playing in front of a crowd instead of sitting home in a dark room?
That's a really good question, actually, because this is indeed a factor you have to keep in mind for pretty much anything competitive. And especially for Grand League, the first 2 seasons were offline, and now it's online. So it's really hard to say if there's actually anyone who is gonna benefit from it. It could maybe be those who have not played on a stage before. You have players like Afi. I think Afi. Wait, did Afi play in Lyon on a stage?
Not on a stage, but he played there.
I think he wasn't on stage.
He was not on the stage.
Yeah. Okay, so I think out of the 8 players, only Afi did not play on stage yet. And I think all the others were. For example, Gwen, he was at the Raider Cup. Then all the other, Spam, Kappa, Papu, Carl, they've all been on stage, no question about that. Perform online and offline. Maybe for players like Aurel, it could be better to play offline. Maybe for players like Afi, it could be better to play offline. Maybe even for Gwen, it could be better to play offline. And for the others, I guess it doesn't matter, honestly, because they have so much experience that they can perform whenever, at whatever place they want. They could perform well in the toilet, even in the bathroom, and they could still win Trackmania Grand League if they wanted to. So that's pretty sick. But no, I think it is a factor, but it won't be super big. It won't be like a massive reason why the results are going to be the way they're going to be after this weekend.
I have 2 takeaways from that, because I did this sort of interviews before the season started with all the 16 players, besides I think it was Gwen and Carl Jr. Kappa said something memorable to me then. It was of course a lot of drama behind the playoff format itself, but then I asked him, okay, it looks like there won't be a playoffs offline. How will you feel if you eventually win this? He said, I don't know if I'm even gonna feel something, because I feel something when I play in front of a crowd, in front of a stage, when eyes are on me. Now I will sit in a dark room in Prague, in a playoff format that I don't really enjoy, so I don't even know if I'm gonna feel something. And the same feeling I get from Carl Jr., I don't think he really have that sort of... You have a feeling when Carl Jr. takes something serious, then it's just something, aura around him. So I think these 2 players, if it was in front of a crowd, I would have more security in putting some money behind them. And the other way around, I have more faith in Gwen online compared to offline, because the only time he played offline in front of a big stage was the Reto Cup. I remember him. After the stage there, he was crying backstage. It was not a pleasant experience from him, but now he won the Reto Cup online. He won the Twitch Rivals online. So I think he is one of the key players that is essentially just going to cruise through it and be in a format that is used to, that being online. So are you agreeing with me? You are one of the players. Am I making too big of a deal on how different it is to play online and offline to the players?
I mean, it depends on the player, obviously. Not everyone is going to think that the same way, and it's normal to disagree on this, because putting yourself in a... It's almost impossible unless you're a player yourself. I, for example, know how I felt when I played on stage, and obviously the pressure is insane. It's higher than at home, in my opinion. But that's because the emotions are higher. So in that regard, I do agree with you right there. The emotions are higher because you have people around you, you have completely different environment, and everything is just different and kind of more spectacular, more immersive, everything. You know, everything is just more. It's more on your everything, on your eyes, on your ears, like all the senses, they're, you know, tingled when you're on stage. But at home, yeah, it's obviously not as high. So I do agree, but you know, it can this fact can impact players more and others less. The fact, like, some players are emotion driven and others aren't, you know. For example, I remember Tamarillo was very emotion driven, so you could always notice when he was, let's say, losing or winning. That's a prime example. Onyo as well. I remember, I don't even know how many times he's been slamming his desk offline when he won a round, like always. So he's also a prime example. But then you have others who are more chill, nah? So it's something you need to keep in mind. Everyone copes with it differently. But yeah, I think I stand by my point that for Gwen it's going to be easier, because maybe less emotions, less pressure as well, and knowing that maybe he could prevail in this format because he's fast and he's consistent. So I think he is one of the players who could greatly benefit from the 2-lap format.
So let's talk about the format itself. We have been touching upon it. It's 2 laps. You essentially have to win a round, then you enter finalist mode, and then you have to win another round. So it's 3 rounds on each map, let's say, so 3 2-lappers. Is there any players that you think this format will benefit the most? A key player that is not in this, that was 9th in the league, is Massa. I was like, okay, this format suits him the best. If there is a format that suits a player like Massa, then this is the format. So I'm kind of sad that he is not in it. Let's talk about the 8 players that are in it: Gwen, Carl Jr., Pac, Papu, Afi, Spam, Aurel, and Kappa. Is there anyone that sticks out to you once you see this format and said, okay, this is handmade for him?
Yeah, I think as I said, Gwen is someone who I remember when I was playing Grand League and you saw the players on the pillars on the stadium on the side. Very often it was Gwen at the start. But he's someone who I think can definitely take the whole thing home because he is extremely fast. Like, he is dangerously fast on the maps. Same for Pac, and honestly Afi. Afi can be a threat on some maps. He has an insane pace on some of the maps. So you shouldn't take Afi out of the picture, even though he is most likely one of the underdogs in here, especially since he's new, but also since he kind of just crawled up his way into the Grand League and into the whole Trackmania competitive scene. He hasn't been here for super long, but he's proven himself so nicely, and I'm actually really proud of Afi that he got to this point. I mean, he also got 5th in the group stage, and he really showed that he's fast as well. Also in the time attack, in the 6-lap leaderboards, in the 1-lap leaderboards as well. So I think Afi is someone, together with Gwen, and yeah, it's so difficult to say for the rest. But I think these 2 could make it happen. Yeah. They're really fast because they also have these techniques. Because Afi, for example, is coming from Nadeo hunting. Gwen is also an all-round player, and he also knows all the little ins and outs. For example, like some gear tactics or some speed slides on grass, dirt, like some things that just they make the the decisive difference in the end. And I think that is something that they have that the other players maybe don't have as much. So that's why I see them at the top for the 2 laps. But yeah, for the rest, it could be anyone. It will also be highly map dependent, in my opinion. Some maps I see, for example, Carl Jr. being almost undefeatable. On other maps, Papu. On other maps, Pack. So gonna be hard to tell.
I did this tier list in the start of the season to allow the casual fans to essentially have a chance to understand who is the favorites, who is the underdogs. I don't know if people agree with me. I saw someone on Twitter disagree with me, but I had 4 players essentially being the winner candidates, that being Carl Jr., Gwen, Pack, and Kappa. I'll still stick with it. I will be really, really surprised if someone else wins it, but in a format like this, I feel like anything can happen. I think that is also what Ubisoft and they wants with it. Maybe they want someone else than Carl Jr. winning it. Maybe they want like a new profile winning it. But is there a player that you see this format being less suitable than Cup mode, less suitable than the regular season, that maybe can go into this event with like, okay, I have low shoulders, no pressure on me because this is a format not really suits me, essentially? Or does everybody have a chance here?
Yeah, I think... As I just said, it will really vary from map to map. On some maps, it will be some players being good, and then others will hang behind, and then vice versa. I would say that overall, Aurel will be a little bit more behind, probably, in terms of overall pace. In some way, maybe Spam as well. Maybe even, I don't know, Pack or something. Kind of hard to say, but... Definitely Spam Aurel. I think they're gonna be maybe the more consistent players and then push whenever needed, which could also be the way to win the whole thing. You never know. But yeah, some players I think do have an upper edge, and then others are a little bit behind, but it's still exciting. You know, there's no player who is significantly behind, or no player who, I don't know, doesn't deserve to be in the playoffs or something, because everyone deserves it and everyone played great, and pretty much every player deserves to be in the playoffs. So it's definitely gonna be a good pick of players, and as you said, exactly what Ubisoft Nadeo probably wants for their playoffs, and they got it. I think it's gonna be great. Almost everyone has a chance to win it. And then again, we don't know how the playoffs are gonna work either. We don't know how, at the end of the day, it's gonna work. So maybe we will have the sickest surprise ever, and someone like, you know, the big favorites are gonna drop out fast. You never know.
Yeah. Exactly. We are acting like we know what's going to happen, but to be honest, I have no clue about what's going to happen. I just act like I do.
Same.
But you talked about the maps itself. Do you think that the maps this season are going to be more important and more decisive than it was last season in Lyon, because then you have a cup mode? Or would you say that it's sort of the same, because on cup mode you're going to have a finalist mode, you're going to have to be good on the map that you're a finalist on?
I don't know. Cruncher right here. That is a crunchy question right there. I'm not sure if it really matters that much, or if there's really a big difference, because in normal cup mode and in this new cup mode, you have to be good on all the maps anyway if you want to have a chance. So yeah, I don't know, man. I'm just gonna keep it at this. I think I can't really see it matter, or I can't see it be that different as an outsider. Like, I played cup mode often enough in my life, but I haven't played this new mode, so hard to predict. But I do think that it doesn't matter that much. You have to be good on all the maps to win a competition. Like, you can't go for a one map strat in the playoffs. You know, it works in the regular season maybe, but it doesn't work here in the playoffs. Like, you have to be extremely solid everywhere. I'm not sure, is the map order known? Like, is it actually known what maps are played at what point? No, because it's picked.
No,
Yeah,
the fourth from the regular season
Yeah.
picks map 1, the third one pick map 2. So essentially, if you're fourth in the
So that's
league
the thing.
and you pick your favorite map, then you can win 2 rounds in a row when you're on to the final 6 then.
So, you know, you could go and try to predict some mind games, or you can try to predict the picks of the players, just the way you did it in
Yeah.
season 1. But sometimes it doesn't work, and then your entire tactics are screwed. So I think your best bet is just going to be really sick on all the 6 maps, and it's the same in cup mode. It was the same in season 1. You know, you can't sit there and hope for, I don't know, rock or roll to not be picked because you're bad on it. And if it gets picked, then your match is over. Like, you can't win competition like this.
Yeah, and just to clarify, for the final 2, then it's like a best of 5, so you need to actually be good on at least 3 maps. So a 1-map strategy can make it into the final 4 if you're, or a final 2 if you're really lucky. But if you want to win it, you need to be good on at least 3 maps. And I mean, why not be good on all maps? You had 6 weeks to actually be good on them, and even more,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
But if we are to make some sort of tier list for the players, we have briefly talked about who we think are the favorites. If you have to mention some of the winner candidates, you mentioned Gwen, you mentioned Afi, are those like the 2 ones you think are the winner candidates, or who would you say are in the category of like a winner candidate?
I mean, I hate to rank players because it's always, you know, you want to name everyone because all the people, they're cool people, you know, and putting people in tier lists, I'm kind of not a big fan of it, because at the end of the day, you're just going to get the @riolu TM on Twitter, and people are going to say, what did you say about this player? What do you mean? He beat you in the group stage, lol. So yeah, I don't know.
Then we can make a deal then, because I don't care if people at me on Twitter. I don't care. That's my job, to have an opinion about stuff. I have my own betting league where I have made some friends, made some non-friends, because I didn't predict them to make it into a playoff. So I'm used to this. I can sort of make my tier list, and you can say disagree or agree. I'm gonna predict that you're gonna say disagree,
Okay.
but okay.
Yeah.
So winner candidates, I'm gonna stick with my preview for the whole season. I'm gonna have 4 winner candidates, and that's just an explanation about how close it's gonna be. I'm gonna have Gwen as the biggest winner candidate. I'm gonna say it right here. He's gonna win it. Then I'm gonna have Pac, Carl Jr., and Kappa as the 3 other winner candidates. If someone else then is being Papu, Aurel, Afi, or Spam wins it, I'm gonna be honest, I'm gonna be surprised. But strong contenders then I'm gonna put Papu, and then the rest of the 3 players are gonna be underdogs. So I'm really gonna be surprised if a name like Afi is gonna win it. I think he has surprised me a lot this season. I predicted him to go to the playoffs, but if he makes it into a winner spot or even a podium spot, then I mean, this is a happy story of 2020. And the rest for Aurel and Spam, I don't think they have the pace to be good on this, but it's a new format, so it's a bolster prediction. I have to have someone as an underdog, so those 3 are my underdogs. Agree or disagree? It's a simple question.
Agree for the most part, actually. I disagree with some, but I agree with most.
Okay. And then the people that are mad about me, just remember riolu are agreeing with you. So let's see how many. I'm gonna post this after I do my interviews on Sunday or Saturday with the players, so nobody is canceling my interviews. But yeah, any final words for these upcoming Sundays? How are you gonna follow it? I have tried to work on behind the scenes to get the best caster in the game back into a casting position. Can you tell people, how are you going to spend this Sunday? Are you going to cast it? Are you going to watch it? Or are you just going to have a day off Trackmania?
I'll definitely watch it, because I'm very interested, and I want to see what I missed out on by not playing very well in the group stage. So I'm definitely going to watch the playoffs. And I advise everyone to watch it as well, even if you're maybe not the biggest fan, but you should give it a chance. You know, it's something new. And you won't know if it's good or not if you don't try it yourself. That's the opinion I have about it. So I think just watch it. If you don't like it, well, tune out and watch something else. But at least give it a try and be kind of neutral about it. I think that's the most fair approach. Don't be like, yeah, it's gonna be shit anyways, or also in the other direction. Don't say, yeah, it's 100% gonna be good. That's maybe also not that healthy. I think just go and watch and embrace it, and if it's cool, then let Nadeo know, and maybe they're going to work on it even further and make it even better for season 3. Or the other way around, if you find something bad, let them know as well. Just don't be the dick who, uses overly vulgar words to describe your feelings, because then no one's going to care about your opinion. That's what it is. You're just going to sound like, some kid if you kind of ruin your argument with vulgar expressions, and you just sound like an angry kid. And that's something that I've noticed a lot lately, that people just don't know how to give feedback, which is unfortunate, because then, sometimes valuable feedback just goes down the toilet.
Yeah.
So if you have feedback, just do it like a normal person and say this and this and this objectively is not good, or you can improve it in a way that you do this and this and this. Instead of saying, yeah, dude, this is so bad, lol, I'm gonna watch something else. Yeah, terrible. So I think that's the best thing you can do.
And since Nadeo hasn't been really great about telling people when it is, it's on Sunday at 8 o'clock. And last thing for me, it's going to be a question to you, riolu. You're going to have Combine. How is the future for you looking? How is the preparation going? Are you going to secure yourself a spot in the next season of Trackmania Grand League?
Of course. No doubt about it. I'm definitely going to practice hard for the Combine. I think it's a format that does suit me well, because I do have strengths in most of the modes. Maybe time attack is going to be my worst. We'll see. But I'm good on knockouts. I have good experience on cup mode, and I think I can also play the TMGL steps nicely enough. So I'm definitely going to stay in Trackmania Grand League. That's for sure.
And you're definitely going to come back on this channel, and hopefully when you do, then I'm not going to record my sound on a mobile, but actually going to do you the honor and do you the respect of actually doing an interview with a proper microphone. But you know me and microphones, right? It's like, I don't know, Nadeo and point system, it never works out, right?
True.
But so once again, it's been a pleasure. It's always an honor to speak with you, and then I can actually rely on an expert telling me what is going to happen, and not like sit here and in my own head trying to predict what is going to happen. So really thankful for you stepping up and bringing some wise words into this Sunday, and some hype, because we need some hype for this Sunday.
You gotta at least try to bring some hype into it, right? And just not be like a sack of potatoes and be like, oh yeah, Trackmania Grand League is happening, great, I'm not gonna watch it, I'm gonna play Fortnite instead. I mean, just watch it, and if you're maybe not that hyped, it's okay, but don't make it like super. Don't pretend that it's super bad or anything.
That's it. Trackmania Grand League is taking place on Sunday. I'm not sure when I have posted this on YouTube, but on Saturday there will be some interviews live with the Trackmania players that is going to participate. And then after it, I'm assuming that at least I'm going to have a winner interview, some recaps, and then I'm going to do some interviews for the Combine as well. So stay tuned. And once again, thanks riolu for stepping up.
It's a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
That's it for today. Bye-bye.